So we'll begin with after the election. Not like a celebratory champagne cork, but like a valve punched through a piston top. We head south and west. Through San Antonio, past Medina on Highway 90, high-rise pickup trucks at the gas and shop, proclaimed football heroes' sons, Travis, 24, Mini-Me, 17, and white vinyl on blacked out rear windows. No one around here is expecting much change. Further west, we traverse the Brazos along a steel span just a little older than Polly or me. 100 feet below, a diagonal crossing, centuries old, the plaque says Old Spanish Road, asserts a continuity in this motion. The only thing at this moment is indeed to move. The Davis Mountains rising before us, caught up in motion, in change. I cannot gauge time's register. Here's a little ekphrastic poem. We've been working on that this past week in class. And Marfa, if you don't know about Marfa, is a small West Texas town in the Davis Mountains. It's about 30 miles west of Alpine, west of Alpine, where Sul Ross University is. And in the 80s, it was bought up by a guy named Donald Judd, who has this Chinati Foundation, and he does minimalist sculpture. And I don't get it immediately, but then if one experiences, you can kind of get the sculpture. It's about shape and the way shapes take up space is the most basic way we can talk about it. And so he's bought big chunks of land, and most of the stuff they charge money to go see, which bugs me on a certain level. But we went to one of the free things. And so this is called Chinati, which is the name of the foundation. So it's Chinati's Foundation. Bad joke. Poured concrete slabs of judgment fudge space like nothing else in Marfa, Texas. You can view them for free, guiding yourself as long as you stay on the trails and off the arc. Big sky shines blue on the horizon, but here under clouds, it's all thorny black, brittle brown, smooth gray, standing up to space itself. Cottontail kicks up deerscat, rushing to shelter under a bush. Crickets crawl the deer trails. And when in Marfa, we tend to stay at the Riata Motel. It's a little outside of town, not in the middle of things, and they usually have vacancies. So this is called Solo Picnic behind the Riata Motel. Spread out on a belly-high cable spool, ringed by rusty nails, working through road trip sausage slices, I pick up a rock and beat down every nailhead to protect future picnickers. Keep chewing crackers and grapes and pepper jack cheese, while cars whoosh down the highway, blowing food wrapper breezes up around my wrists. A ring of mountains far, far off encircles an American West that is most nearly found in cinema. I'm feeling like most everything worthwhile has already happened here. I've showed up too late. My northerly left is stacked with horizontal lines like geological striations. Highway gravel, roadside low roofs of trailer homes, railroad tracks herald 3 red and yellow South Pacific engines pulling a train long enough to fill the entire vista all the way from west to east. That's what I got out of Marfa. Polly scheduled us for the McDonald Observatory, and we went up, and it's very beautiful up in the mountains. We were there. There was a nice church group in their bus from Flores, Texas. I was really disappointed Sandy Wood was nowhere to be found. Got through that. But night came down. It had been a cloudy day, and the clouds didn't go away. We could not even see the moon outside. So we didn't get to look through telescopes. But we had a nice talk, and they told us about the moon, and they told us how the phases of the moon work, and you know that the moon turns, but it turns in synchronization with the Earth, so the same part of the moon is always towards us. It's not that the moon doesn't turn, it's just the same part of the moon is always towards us, and I thought that was cool. And we talked about exoplanets, and it was a good drive. But it made me think of my old buddy Michael Collins. My friend Cecile's here. Cecile used to work for NASA, and she got me Michael Collins' address, and I mailed him this poem a couple of years back. Michael Collins is a big hero. I'll tell you a little bit more. Michael Collins, not the Irish Revolutionary, right? Michael Collins, the guy who did not set foot on the moon. And he's one of my heroes because of this story. So there had to be three guys. Buzz and Neil get to walk around on the moon. Michael Collins pilots the command module and waits and picks him up, takes him home. And for some reason, I always thought that they sent him back up and he walked on the moon. And in fact, they did give him the opportunity, but he said, no, I don't want to go through another mission because it's so stressful on my wife. So I thought that was good, but even better, or maybe not better, it's nice to care about our loved ones. Michael Collins, while he's waiting to pick up Buzz and Neil, on the far side of the moon, he's the first person to be that alone because there's no radio contact. And he cannot look and see the Earth even. And so he's utterly, totally alone. And that's got to be some kind of existential heroism, I've always thought. So Michael Collins in the far side of the moon has a woodcut. I'm forgotten, Polly, is it you or Max? You did this, right?
That's Max.
That's Max. Okay, Max was here a little bit ago, did that woodcut. And available in diamond plate. Michael Collins on the far side of the moon, like angels in their lack of free will, hovering above us purely as agents. Think of Michael Collins, 14 orbits around the moon, but never getting closer than 9 miles to its surface. Command module for Buzz and Neil, trudging their seas of tranquility and glory. While alone above their heads, he circled like a film noir taxi, keeping the motor running for the getaway. But 47 minutes of each 2-hour orbit found him beyond all contact, in truly cosmic solitude. The far side of the moon, with no Earth to look back on, a universe to look out on, all to himself. I love Michael Collins. And what the hell? I'm going to do some bragging here. The Chronicle recently saw fit to make up a whole category for me as the Mopar poet. And, our car's outside. It's still a work in progress, but it's licensed and running. And so this poem, I may have to retire because things have changed because I've been working on things. So this is the last poem. And so you get the first poem, Michael Collins' last poem, in diamond plate here. 12-second quarter mile. If you know about drag racing, 12-second quarter miles, pretty respectable, over 110 miles per hour, which is a decent thing to get up to in just 1,320 feet. 12-second quarter mile. Sometimes I still get caught inside that gap between my hands and my head. Inabilities to cut a straight line, bore holes that are evenly spaced, paint without runs, lay down any kind of weld. I hang undercover with hot rod buddies, mechanics, craftsmen, sculptors, and visionaries whose thoughts flesh out into metal capable of 120 miles per hour on the drag strip. These words, so simple and forgiving. My poems, routinely dropped, chopped, and channeled, lowered and louvered, and sectioned and scalloped, faster than my fingers, though not so quick as my thoughts. How can I make them roar? To shake windows, smoke and peel out burning rubber clouds, shoot flames into the darkness, or even convey the time spent accumulating just the right accoutrements. Grinding, sanding, sweet shaping, tripping over my tongue and onto this paper, every tool I've ever gathered in constant attempt to wrench this thing free. Okay, so that's it. Well, thanks again to Malvern. Thanks to y'all for coming out, and I hope this is some enticement to take classes at ACC. Very important information here. You can take ACC classes, continuing ed, and it's inexpensive. You can take it continuing ed, it's inexpensive, you don't have to register, blah, blah, blah. And one more thing, if you take our classes continuing ed, you will be very happy and surprised and amazed at our excellent students who are a wide variety. We've got students here right now that, I think 5 or 6 people I've taught, and none of them are boring. They're all really interesting. They're non-traditional students, and so no matter who you are, what you are, where you're coming from, there really is a place for you at ACC. And I know it sounds corny, but I love what I do, and it's, look around you, it's true. And everybody's like that. So take ACC classes. We have pamphlets in the back by the ACC provided specs as well.